time it dealt with all of the Americas. That America had been such a bully and so mean to everybody, and continuous wars in the southern hemisphere, that President Roosevelt came up with the good neighbor policy. And he stated, we have to live in our world as a good neighbor. That's what he said. And of course, he died in 45, and they trashed that. Right after that, they came back with full force. And they changed that good neighbor policy from a traumatic neighbor policy, a murderous neighbor policy, an invading neighbor policy. From everywhere and everybody that you can imagine down in South, and they still have it going on right today. So if you look at Venezuela, they're talking about, well, last week or two, they were talking about, well, they're nice guys. But 2 weeks before that, they was boycotting them, talking bad about them. Nicaragua, if you would, they supported Somoza and his family from 1932 all the way up to the 80s or the 70s, right? And soon as they got rid of him as a dictator, then they said that we want to support the Contras, Contra in Spanish, Contra, against. They supported them against, and they did it in any kind of way they wanted. I don't know if you heard of Hassan Foos and all them people, and cocaine for arms and all that. That was the policy. They changed from a good neighbor policy to being the worst neighbor that you could have. Somebody you didn't want to live in their neighborhood, and you didn't want them in yours. So we want to reshape the whole American focus. Included in that is reshape and reform how the American people see themselves and how they see the world. And America is just right for that right now. Because if you want to look at unhappy people in the world, suicides and all of that, you would have to look in America. It has everything at its disposal, but the people don't know what to do. We can help them with that. Yes, that's where we come in. We can help them focus on those things that are important in life. And the first thing that's most important is to rehabilitate yourself from the arms race and from fighting and killing and destroying whole civilizations, from the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, as the Iraq War, to Syria and all of its, and the biggest bazaar for centuries in Aleppo. Yeah. The great theaters in Syria, even from some of Syria's in ancient times, part of certain empires, the Eastern Roman Empire, and they have great theaters and all of that stuff right there in Syria. Okay. Turkey is part of what we used to call Uthmaniyya, the Ottoman Empire, and it fell, but it have great histories and great personalities that have been there, and we want to help revive that. So what we're talking about, they're talking the word like a woke theory. This is everybody want to be woke today. Well, we want you really to be woke, not sleep. We don't want you thinking that, this war over here is bad because Mr. Putin is crazy. We want you to do some research and stop being a crackpot. Well, we don't want to call you crackpots or anything, but we want you to be sensitive to what's going on in the world. So we have had experience with this. Our early contributions was East Oakland Enterprises. It was the first economic Black Economic Enterprise Zone that we organized and led from 1968 to, let's say, 1971, where we had to kind of leave for a while. But this was I want you to study, see. Don't take us for granted. We've been here a long time, and we've been in the front ranks for a long, long time. In those days, Martin Luther King moved to Chicago in 1968 to do what? To start a Black Economic Enterprise Zone, right? Yeah. We was already doing it during his time. We were younger, but we did it. We did it so serious that boss man said, basically, you people got to go. We're not having that, you know. So build a positive self-image for Muslims. Self-image is how you see yourself. Our children are growing up under this oppressive media, and they might begin to see themselves as terrorists. They may begin to see themselves as something is wrong with them, right? Something is wrong with us. Okay, so we have to help cure that something is wrong with us syndrome, and there's something wrong with the world, and that they can join up with groups and movements and organizations and help cure that. So we want to build a positive self-image of Muslims and Islam, and kind of provide them with a spirit of liberators of the human spirit, and lift the veil of ignorance from our friends here in the Western Empire or the Western United States. And as we wrap this up, remember the 4 freedoms. Those are all part, if you would read anything in Islam, you find those: freedom of worship, freedom from want. That's why we give zakat, sadaqah, so other people can eat, right? Freedom of worship, la ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah. If they want to worship something else, they Ali Kitab or whatever, they have the freedom. Under the Muslims, under the Islamic Empire, they were Muslims, Jews, and Christians all living in harmony together under Islam. Okay, freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. How much of those freedoms are going around now? How much of those are the Muslims are embedded, impressed with keep your mouth shut, la ilaha illallah in the closet, everybody holding on to the little bit they got and not giving and sharing it. When you give and share, the wealth grows, increase. Freedom from fear. Okay, so dear believers, you're going to see us out there with our boxes and a big smile. So pack up your money bags. I'm not saying don't give your zakat and sadaqah to your big organization, but your big organization is just going to build more little things, add on to the property. We're going to struggle in the cause of Allah to liberate, is the mission of Islam, to liberate man from the worship of other men to the worship of Allah. So that means we want to liberate the soul and spirit of the Muslims in America and the American people themselves. The American people, we believe, are generally good people. They just don't know what's going on because the media, the Zionists, is telling them what to do. And I'll close with this. The Zionists have so misconstrued the world that when they think about an invasion, right now they think about Putin invading Ukraine. But when the United States invaded, right, Iraq, when the United States invaded Libya, when the United States breathes fire all day about what it wants to do to Iran, when the U.S. invaded for the umpteenth time Lebanon and destroyed, and the Zionists killed over 40,000 people in 1982. They destroyed Lebanon. And it's okay. The Zionists right now are slaughtering people in Palestine, the Muslims, right? And it's okay. It's not a big deal. You see what I mean? It's not a big deal. It's a small deal. Okay, so what we want to do is we want you to help us. Usually we wouldn't say, so we want y'all to help us with your funds and your du'as. And you help us with those and we'll do the best that we can, inshallah, with the rest. So we thank you very much for listening to us. We will accompany this DVD with a one-page flyer, so you'll be able to contact us and we'll give you an outline of what our agenda is and what we aim to do in the next few years. You can type up some names on the internet and don't pay no attention now, because they're going to say this guy's the meanest guy in the world. Those people are terrorists. Don't pay no attention to that. Use that as a sign of approval, that if they said it's bad, it must be good, right? If the Zionists say bad, then it must be good. So whatever, hey, that's a good one. Yeah, go to your internet and type up Imam Abdul Alim Musa, Masjid al-Islam, and when you do that, send us all you got. Thank you very much. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم.